welcome to Sons of 100 Maniacs. My name's Jake.
Hi, I'm Ruben. We're going to talk a little bit about what we've been up to this week when it comes to horror.
Yeah.
A little bit about what we've been watching, what we've been playing, what we've been listening to.
What we did on Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also interesting.
Halloween just passed, so we
Yes.
want to talk about what we did. I'll go ahead and start first. I recently caught Antlers in the theaters, and it wasn't bad. I know Guillermo del Toro, the maestro of horror, was involved. Not the best movie overall per se, but it's decent. You know, it's about the legend of like a Wendigo or like a forest kind of creature. You know, with antlers and a little boy, and kind of what he goes through, and his teacher tries to help him and stuff. And
Any great scenes that you can something remarkable that you can take with you?
I like the monster, I guess, the character design. I like the makeup, was really, really good. And the little boy, I think he was great. The role of like the scared kind of quiet kid, in class. I think he did really well. Again, the movie was very kind of right in the middle. Not super awesome, but it wasn't super horrible. So yeah, I think it's worth a watch, if you want to see Guillermo del Toro's latest work. But as far as
Maniacs would you give it?
Ooh, that's a good one. I wasn't gonna review it, but honestly, it's
Like,
right in the middle
something
of the road. I'm gonna say maybe 70 out of 100, maybe like a C, I guess.
Piece of shit.
No, piece of shit is like under 50 Maniacs out of 100. So yeah, I would say about a 70, right in the middle. Not bad, not great. What about you, Jake? How was your week in horror?
It was good. We watched The Exorcist.
Yes.
This is the first time I watched it in like probably 15 years or
Yeah.
so.
When did you watch it? Halloween night?
Halloween night,
Very
the
nice.
31st.
Very
I
nice.
think it was good. And you know what? This time I think I saw it from a different perspective. I was paying a lot of attention to like symbolism in general in the movie. Something I've never paid attention before because the first time I saw it, I was like fucking 13 years old or whatever.
Okay.
And then I saw it again when they came out with the uncut version, the Spider Walk, and all
Yes,
that, which
yes.
was great by the
Like
way.
99 maybe, or
Yeah.
2000, something like that.
Yeah. 90 something.
The version you've never
98,
seen,
I
right?
think. Yeah. I remember I saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
Scared the hell out of me, that freaking scene, bro. And you know what scared the hell out? Like the thing that scared me the most
Yeah.
was Captain Howdy's face.
Okay,
Like the guy that appears like
Yeah, just the
fucking,
flashes
like
in
flash.
the kitchen or whatever.
yeah, that flashing image stayed in my head for so long. It fucking creeped me out, and I remember like dreaming about it and shit because it was like, who the fuck is this guy? I mean, I don't want to make a review about it, and I don't want to make this too long, but it was very remarkable. And we watched it again, and I think I noticed a lot of things. Like, for example, like when right at the end when he's trying to like take the devil or whatever thing is inside of this girl, and says like, "Take me," and the girl grabs his necklace.
His crucifix?
No,
It's like a rosary or no?
No, it's not a rosary. It's a the thing that it has a coin. I think it's like a coin, and then
okay.
later on they give it to the other priest or something.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember paying attention to that right at the moment where when she grabs this necklace. The devil gets inside of him, like he was being protected by this thing,
Right.
in a way.
Okay.
Like the symbolism. When he died, the priest, I can't remember his name, he approaches him and he asks him like in a way like, do you regret not believing in God anymore, like losing the faith,
Yes.
or something?
Okay.
And he just moves the hand,
Okay.
like saying yeah, and then he gives him the
Because he
blessing. and,
can't,
like,
because he's dying, right?
He's dying.
Yeah, so he can't speak.
I don't know. I think
Very
that was
nice.
very interesting to look like. I don't know.
Very nice.
Yeah, so I watched that, and yeah, I watched Scream recently because of the first
The
episode.
review of Scream was great.
That was good. Yeah. I wanna
Always
watch
a
them
good
all
time.
again.
Yeah, always a good time with Scream.
That was good.
Back to me. Also, I learned a kind of a Halloween themed or good for Halloween season a board game called Mysterium Park. Really, really good. You're supposed to be like a ghost. You're supposed to have been killed. It's kind of like Clue, back in the day. Like Clue.
I
like,
love Clue.
Yeah. So this one is you're a ghost, and the other people are like kind of like they're trying to investigate your death, but they're kind of psychics. So the ghost can't talk while you're playing. One person plays the ghost, everybody else plays psychics, and you have like the people like kind of like the suspects that killed you. and the only way the ghost can talk or communicate to the players is by giving them like cards with pictures. And they have to kind of guess, who did it based on the pictures. It can be like because of the color, but the ghost cannot say a word. No,
in the entire game.
Yeah, the ghost can't until the end. Whether you're right or wrong or whatever. So it's really good. You have to kind of be creative. You have to think outside the box. So you give them these clues, these pictures, and they have to kind of think, okay, this is green. Maybe because it's green. Maybe because it has a sword. This guy uses sword, and maybe he killed him that way. Okay. And the second round is where I was killed. So again, you have locations on the board, and the only way you can communicate is by giving people just pictures. And they have to kind of try to connect it. Yeah. And take a guess. So it's pretty fun. It's kind of more of a party game. It plays better with like a bigger crowd. But yeah, it's horror related, and like I said, I love all things horror. So that's been my week. Anything else for you?
People have to see all your collection of board games. It's unbelievable, bro. Like I don't even think you have played them all.
No, I haven't. I'm working on it. I'm working on playing all my board games, but I want to start with all the horror stuff first, of course.
Yeah, that's and quite a lot. Anyway.
Move my way from there.
Yeah, let's jump into our main theme here.
All right, what's the main theme this week?
Theme is how did we get into horror? You can go first, or
you sure? Yeah, go ahead. I just want to know, like right off the bat, man.
Right off the bat.
What movie impacted you? What game? What show? What TV?
You're gonna laugh your ass. This was really fun because it was back in, I don't know, probably 1991.
Okay.
Or 2. I was very little, and I remember watching on the Mexican television this film called Vacaciones de Terror. In Spanish, which means
vacations of horror, or horror vacations. Yes,
with two very popular actors and actresses. This is back in the day, which is Tatiana and Pedrito Fernandez.
Yes,
and they were filmed in Mexico, and it was about this killer doll.
Yeah,
it was a doll that was possessed or was cursed in a way.
This was before Chucky, huh?
I think so. No, I think Chucky already came out.
Really?
Chucky was 88.
88, and this was when?
90s.
I think it was
early
around
90s.
Maybe the same time.
Or probably around maybe the same. Yeah, around the same year. 89,
just about,
or something like that. I gotta look it up.
Yeah, we're talking American production versus Mexican movie production.
Oh yeah, well,
right.
But you know what? I mean, for the time, I think it fucking creeped me out, bro. It scared the hell out of me. I couldn't sleep after watching that shit.
Okay.
I remember sleeping with my parents and stuff. I was dreaming about this freaking doll. There's this scene where she's just eating this cake. Like the little girl has this party, and they're all celebrating at this thing, and she happens to be the daughter of this guy who's got all this like film production stuff going on, and he's got like all the makeup effects and stuff over there where this party is happening.
Okay.
So for some I can't remember because I haven't seen it in a while, but for some reason this doll ends up under the table eating a piece of cake, and the cake was like a whole mini theme park, like witches and ghosts and stuff.
Nice.
So she eats a piece of doll or something happens, and she starts like moving her head. So I don't know. It's just fucked up just to look at it.
It's creepy. It's really creepy.
Bro.
Yeah.
And the music was creepy, and the fact that it took place in Mexico, it was, I don't know, it felt really close to me in a way, like it could happen.
Yeah.
And I was like fucking, I don't know, 8 years old or something.
Of course, you're little, you believe that can happen
scare the hell
to
out of
you,
me,
it can
bro.
happen at your house.
First approach to horror, being scared, not liking it, and being like, holy, what the fuck is this? I don't want to watch this again. But then I wanted to watch it. And my first love for horror was Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I think I saw Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. It was the first one I saw, and I remember the bus scene where he's driving right at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's fucking cool. I was like, it wasn't scary at all. I mean, it looked scary, but I think the guy was cool. Like, that driver is cool. Like, killer, whoever that is, you know. I remember that was my first approach to horror. And that was the beginning of it all.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome. You? Oh man, for me, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say the very, very first movie that really kind of caused an impact and stayed with me was Poltergeist. Man,
Whoa, man.
we're talking like what 1982, maybe something like that. I think it was like Toby Hooper who directed.
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg was helping out. Yeah, there was kind of a back and forth. I know
Toby
Hooper was the director, but I know Steven Spielberg was kind of going back and forth because he was working on E.T. at the very same time. But again, rumor has it, the legend is that Steven Spielberg was kind of hopping back and forth between both movies, you know, but he wanted to give Toby his like the credit, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But Toby was not. He was just kind of behind the scenes. Whatever Steven says goes, you know. Anyways, but yeah, we know it was Steven Spielberg. You can read the behind the scenes and watch the director's commentary.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the golden rule of horror. To me, this is what I believe. Every single horror movie is a product of its time. And also a product of how old you were when you watched it. Okay?
For sure.
Let me repeat that again. The golden rule of horror, okay? You heard it here first, everybody. The golden rule of horror. Every horror movie is a product of its time and also a product of the age you were when you watched it. Now, when I watched Poltergeist, I was a kid. I was young. I thought all of this stuff can happen. I thought, wow, if a house is built on an old cemetery, we can get haunted by the ghosts of the people there. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I watch it. You watch it as a kid. You believe this can happen to you. This can be any house, in your neighborhood. This can be your neighbors. This can be your house. And so that freaked me out a lot. It was scary to me, all those things that happened. The little girl kind of getting lost, in the closet, and them hearing her through the TV and all that stuff,
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
I just thought that, the TV was a very powerful kind of conduit, for ghosts and the supernatural and that other dimension, you know what I mean?
It was some kind of connection.
Yeah.
The TV.
I thought that was really freaky because if you remember back in the day before cable, the static, that's what you would use to power your video games or whatever, right? You would go to that staticky kind of channel.
The static was like change the channel.
Yeah, exactly. I hated that afterwards.
I want to start listening to a girl after that.
Yeah, the white noise or whatever. Noise. So yeah. Modern kids don't get that. You just get the blue screen and no sound. Because everything's digital now. But yeah, back then, guys, you can Google this. It's for all you young kids. Yeah, we had that channel 3. To if you wanted to play Super Nintendo, you heard the psst. So I thought that was really creepy. Days, and of course the clown scene. Oh my goodness, man! That started a generation of people fearing clowns. Trust me. Yeah, the clown scene under the bed. He's just kind of going at it and so creepy. And even the whole movie, like in the end, when you think the ghost is done and everything's finished, it kind of comes back for like one more final, scare, and it's really then everything really starts to kind of happen. So towards the end of the film, everybody's kind of huggy. They find Carol Ann, everything's happy, right? They all hug. But the house isn't finished with them yet, right? You still got the big ghost kind of guarding the door. Oh my God! And then they all escape. The tombs start coming out of the floor. The little lady, the short lady that kind of helps them out and stuff. Just it's totally the Zelda Rubenstein. It's creepy, man. And that whole house kind of implodes. It doesn't explode. It kind of implodes, and it's. Overall, it's just very, very creepy, and that I love the last scene when they go to a motel and the dad just kind of throws the TV out, out of the room. You know what I mean?
And then the credits appear, right?
And the song too. Again,
the song,
just everything kind of working in conjunction. Right. The visuals, the scares, and the music. I think it all just kind of tied so well together. And again, at the age that I was when I watched it, it just impacted me so much. And again, that's where the golden rule applies. If you were to have watched it maybe in your teens or as an adult, it might not have been as scary, nowadays, especially compared to everything that we have now. That's why I say it's a product of its time, because back then it was very original. The idea of the whole cemetery thing. Now you have a lot of movies that are kind of similar, and so it's going to be compared, like it or not. But yeah, that was one of the movies that just kind of stayed with me and stuck with me.
That was very original.
To this day, I think it's one of my favorite horror movies. Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist, not the remake crap.
I don't even
All right, what else?
It.
No, the remake. I don't. It was just so bad. I mean, they try to focus on the clown scene and stuff. It just wasn't great.
What do you think about the sequels, though?
Ooh, the sequels. They're okay. Like part 2 was okay. I think part 3 kind of lost it. You know,
Part 3 lost it
they just.
completely.
But part 2
Part
was,
2 I
was
think
still
it
pretty
still holds
decent
up,
with the
yeah.
phone and the grandma. But again, it didn't impact me as much because I was a little older, you know, and now I wasn't as scared. It didn't, you know, scar me like the first one did. And then, the tragic Heather O'Rourke, she played the little girl, you know, how she passed. She was very sick, you know, so by the second one, she was already sick. And by the third one, I think they had to use, like, another little girl kind of, you know, they switched her out because she was so sick. But yeah, Poltergeist, the original, 1982, directed by Tobe Hooper, a.k.a. Steven Spielberg. Wink, wink. That's the one that impacted me.
I always thought it was Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, no, Tobe Hooper, but yeah, Steven Spielberg was pretty much uncredited, but it was him, you know? Again, he was doing E.T. at the same time. What else, man?
Another thing
what about
that
video games, dude?
I recall was also video games.
Yes.
And, especially the Nightmare on Elm Street video game on the NES and the Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Both on the NES. They both marked me a lot. Like, I remember renting them a lot on the video store. And pretty much like on this first episode what I said, like, until the point that my mom was like, can I just buy it? Because I was the only one renting it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, nobody gave a shit about him. And I remember liking it a lot, especially the Nightmare on Elm Street, because you could switch the characters. I liked it a lot. The fact that you could... Have you played that game?
No, I never.
Bro,
I found it kind of difficult as a kid to play it. Because I didn't really understand it and I didn't get really far.
Fucking love that game.
Yeah.
I think it was a great game. I mean, it's fucking stupid. And
My love for horror games came a little later, but go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I mean, I really liked it. And in the game, I mean, I know it deserves a better review in the future.
Of course.
We'll make a review.
We'll
for
do
both
a
of
bunch
them.
of horror
and
NES game reviews. Why not?
I can do a speedrun or whatever because I know it from top to bottom. Like, I really played the hell out of that game.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, that was one of the few games that I had, so that was the only thing I had to play.
Got it.
But it was fucking hard, man. Like,
Yeah,
there were
it was a
no
difficult
password or whatever. Would you only have like a couple of continues or lives or whatever, and that was it. If you die, you have to play it again. From
Yeah, no, I didn't get far in it.
So
I did play them both, but
I fell in love with it. You grab all these icons that are like tokens that can help you transform into whatever you want on the dream side.
okay.
So I think that was amazing. That was a great gimmick of the game. A great
Like the main idea.
yeah.
Okay.
I really like that. And
What about more recent games? What about like when the Resident Evils and Silent Hills came out?
When Silent Hill came out, the first one, I remember my brother used to play that one a lot on the PS1, and I was younger than him for sure. But I remember watching him playing that game first.
Yeah.
Before I even touched it, I just saw him playing it. And it changed my whole life. It was like, what the fuck? Because everyone was playing Resident Evil. You know, the first one, it came out. But my brother, for some reason, went towards the other direction.
route. Yeah, Silent Hill.
Towards Silent Hill.
Perfect.
Which was... It was a survival horror game, but it was not zombies. And it was not... It was just creepy stuff. Like, I remember this so vividly. I still get the chills when I remember the second... dungeon, I call it, because I'm a Zelda freak also. But the second world or dungeon, which is the school, I can't remember if it's the first one, but the first big map that you have to go through and find the keys and whatever, is a school, and there's this women's restroom, and you can just hear this woman is crying, and it's just so creepy. It doesn't do anything. It's just sound.
So good.
It's not even hurting the character or anything. You don't get any damage. It's just fucking scary. And then this other, remember you have a radio, so it makes the sound like static.
The cracking,
when someone's approaching or a creepy thing or whatever. And there was this like a baby just like walking around you and doing nothing. It doesn't even hurt you, but it's just fucking scary, bro.
It's so like unnerving, right? It's just nervousness.
It's amazing. It's such a great game. That was the first of the new generation, if you will, that marked me a lot. And then, of course, Resident Evil. Honorable mention to a Fatal Frame 2.
Oh, I love Crimson Butterfly.
Crimson Butterfly. Such a great game.
Yes.
That game freaked me out as well, bro.
Some of the images on that game.
Some of the images are
I still remember to this day. It was Japanese horror, right? So
Japanese horror.
This was like before The Ring and The Grudge and all that shit. We got it.
It was around that era.
Through video games though, instead of like through movies. But just I remember Fatal Frame 2. That's
my God,
that's
bro.
one of my like top. Like it's not even an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, for me it's also
I
on the
played
top,
the
but I don't
hell
think
out
we'll
of
have
Fatal
it for
Frame.
sure.
You had to defeat ghosts with a camera. Take good
Camera
pictures
obscura.
of the camera obscura. You had to take good pictures of the ghosts to get like the better score
To kill them.
Yeah, but I mean that was freaky. Because you had to let them get
You
close
have
to
to
you,
confront
or
them and see them, like, right in your
especially if they're
face.
about to hit you and you take a picture. It's like it's so like creepy, because
Such a great
you don't just
mechanics.
shoot ghosts, you don't just eliminate them. You have to take pictures of
have
them.
to take pictures.
Fatal Frame was great. For
Such a
me,
great
Resident
game.
Evil was so good because
Which one?
it was the leap part 2, probably.
Yeah, of course.
It had the little cheesy video intro, like
I
they're
loved
falling
it.
down.
Wow, back in
and
the
then
day, that was
reading all the
amazing.
diaries and stuff for me was because I love to read, and video
Yeah,
games
me
were
too.
never really like that, back then. It was just kind of run, jump, kill.
Same as in Silent Hill. Like,
But
I
the
read
little
hell out of
video
everything.
diaries and how
Yeah.
people like start to kind of convert, from humans to zombies based on the the whole virus, T virus, whatever.
And I remember
It was so good, like the whole itchy,
Just
tasty,
reading-
just like you can tell that they were kind of slipping into craziness, right? Like from
Exactly.
being human,
It was building
to
up
being
the
just.
tension.
And then in the end, some of the diaries were just like letters, numbers, and shit, and that's when they were
Codes and stuff. They were
fully
already, like,
zombies.
they're gone, yeah.
So good, and like the dogs just breaking through the glass. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the very first jump scares in video games. You know what I mean? Like the very first time you saw a fully fledged zombie. In the house. Yeah, just again, my love of horror. Playing those games with headphones, with the lights out, was just the best. Fatal Frame was another one where you would just kind of hear whispers, and stuff like that, and you're just like, what the hell? You don't want to move your character because you know something freaky is gonna happen,
Yeah.
But yeah, all of that just started my love of video games. Another honorable mention for me on the GameCube was Eternal Darkness.
I've never played it, but
Sanity's
I've heard a lot of
Requiem.
things
So
about it.
good. It was one of the original games that had you had your life meter, you had like your magic meter, and then you had a thing called a sanity meter. And the more you would see ghosts or whatever, or demons or bad guys, the more you would lose your sanity. And so what the game did, it was so clever. On some instances, like you would see on your TV that your volume goes to like 0, so you think like it's your TV, so you're like, what the hell, but it was actually just the game. Or sometimes it would say like controller disconnected, just a message on the as you're playing, so you're like, what the hell? So you're looking at your GameCube, you're like, what the shit? And it's all fine, and then it goes back and it's like, nope, we're just fucking with you. Or like sometimes you would see roaches kind of cross like the screen, or sometimes you would go in a room and you're a giant, and then or the room was upside down, or just the worst one of all is when you're playing and then the game resets itself, like resets to the beginning, and you're just like, like your progress, and then it flashes back and you're back in your game, and just
Oh my god!
so good,
Spoil
man.
it for me because I haven't played it, but I definitely
you have to. Yeah, if you can find it on the
have to give it a
GameCube,
chance. Yeah,
or
for
an
sure.
emulator, wink, wink. Not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
legal or whatever. But
I'm a huge fan
Eternal
of collecting
Darkness,
stuff. I
and then
used
it
to
was a
collect
lot
a
of
lot, but not
characters
anymore.
too. Eternal Darkness, you played through at least I think like 10 or 12 different characters in different time eras. So you would play like a Roman gladiator, you would play like like a I don't know, like an African queen, and then you would play like a detective, in the 1920s. You know what I mean? So all of them played differently, but the sanity meter was just so great. And it had like a nice little quote by Edgar Allan Poe, when you start the game, and the boss battles were really good. It was just a really well-made game that I think it was like underappreciated, underrated. Yeah. If you can go back and find it, definitely, I recommend it. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Of course, there's tons of games and movies that affect our love,
go on and on, bro.
and yeah, of course, it's a horror podcast, so we
Dead
can talk
Space,
about.
another
Are
good
you
one.
kidding me? Yeah, Dead Space. So much modern stuff that's really really good. So much old stuff too that was really good, fun stuff. Like I know I mentioned Zombies Ate My Neighbors
was a
for the
good
Super
one on the
Nintendo.
Super
It was a really
Nintendo,
fun
yeah.
cooperative game,
Yeah.
right? Like
Hard as fuck too.
yeah, really
Super
difficult.
hard.
But Dead Space was good. Aliens is a good game. Very, really, really tense.
Which one?
Alien. Like you're in the ship. You're actually.
I think
like,
it's Alien 3, right?
no, the game is it's
Oh,
just
you mean
Alien. Yeah, like the
recent
Xbox
one?
game. Yeah, the Xbox
Oh yes,
game.
yes.
Where you have like the heartbeat sensor and you can
Yes.
see kind of he's close, but you don't know where he's. You have to hide and stuff, and it's really really good. Yeah, I know there's tons of games out there, board games, of course. Yeah. So, anyways, again, this is a horror podcast, and it's for horror fans like you guys, horror fans like us, and that's how we're treating it, and we're pretty much doing it for you guys. We're making a podcast that we would like to listen to as fans of all things horror.
And probably people that have never been into horror or like never had a chance to like actually go deeper, because they have probably watched the classics.
Yes.
They can be...
Start with the classics. Just start with the originals. Don't go into the sequels because it gets all crazy and the storylines kind of get all twisted.
Sequels
and
suck.
like Halloweens, how many Halloweens, and then it starts again, and then it stops again, and it's Rob Zombie, and then it just continues, and then it's just just start with the classics. Talk to friends, get recommendations. Listen to us. We're gonna talk about more non-mainstream films. We want to get into like the rare kind of unheard of
underrated
movies,
films and like
stuff people have not really heard of, not the popular stuff. Of course, once in a while, we'll jump into the what's popular
gems.
But we really want to focus on the movies like Vacaciones de Terror. If you can find a good copy, and if you don't speak Spanish, find a subtitled one, not dubbed but subtitled. I always like subtitled over dubbed because sometimes dubbed is too cheesy. Find a copy and learn like what it's all about, because there's tons of horror out there that is not in English, not American made, that is so good. Japanese stuff. What is it? Spaniards from Spain.
High Tension.
High Tension, the original one in French. If you can find, this is what we're gonna concentrate on. The not so popular. All right. So what are we thinking next week? We want to review a movie or?
We can go for Aterrados.
Aterrados.
That might be a good one.
Speaking of Spanish horror. I know for a fact that Aterrados, it's called Terrorized. If you can find it, I'm pretty sure it's on Shudder. If not, download it on your favorite video sources, Amazon Video or Vudu, however you get your horror. I'm guessing a DVD is gonna be a little tougher to track down. But if you have Shudder, and again, I know it's on there, go ahead and watch it, because this is what we're going to probably be talking about on next week's podcast. And we don't want to spoil it for you, but it starts off pretty well. The middle is pretty good as well. Very, very creepy. The ending gets kind of weird, but I think it's worth the watch. And if anything, Jake and I will watch it here in my house. That way we have something to talk about
for sure.
On next week.
Down.
All right. Jake, tell the people where they can find us. How can they listen to this podcast?
They can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, I believe Google Play and Amazon Music as well.
Okay.
Or I'm not sure if Amazon plays podcasts, but anywhere there's podcasts.
Wherever you get your podcast, wherever you're listening to us now, continue to listen to us there. Also, it helps a lot if you give us reviews. If you're on Apple, I know that's the big
and
one.
I would say Spotify. YouTube as well. I think we can upload a video version of it and then incorporate video.
We want to get into the video little by little. Let us know if this is something that you prefer to do. You can find us on Instagram.
Send us a comment or a mail or whatever.
Send us an email, sons of100maniacs@gmail.com, the number 100, or find us on Instagram, sons of 100 maniacs. So go ahead and find us, leave us feedback. Again, tell us what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of. If there's a movie that you recommend that we may not have mentioned, go ahead and let us know. Definitely. We can give it a review. We can put it into our review system of 0 to 100 maniacs, just like we do. And keep listening. Good. Thank you for tuning in. This was episode 2 of Sons of 100 Maniacs.
Alrighty.
And thank you. Keep it creepy. Have a good night.
Till next time.